much more in this fire. Some have been celebrities, including Adele and Rita Ora, and I am going to be joined now by the singer Lily Allen. She lives in this area and is well known amongst the local community and knows a fair amount about the background to this whole issue. Lily Allen, what's your sense of what a public inquiry should be looking at?
Well, I think that there needs to be questions answered about fire regulations and why, a bill that was meant to be passed was voted against by 312 Tory Conservative MPs, 80 of which I hear are landlords. There has to be a conflict of interest there, and that needs to be investigated. I think.
You think basically the property involvement of MPs, particularly Conservative MPs, affects their judgment on what should be done?
Oh, I don't want to get myself into a libelous situation, but no. To me, that's what's being said here on the ground. I think there's a lot of anger here towards the council, how they've dealt with people's concerns building up to this event, and how they've dealt with things after the event as well. A
lot of the people I've spoken to draw attention to the reality that this is the richest borough in Britain, possibly in the world. After all, you have Chelsea down there, and you have clearly Kensington, North Kensington here.
Holland Park. They're some of the most expensive properties on planet Earth.
But you live here. Do you sense that there is any attempt at all to bind these two societies together?
No, not really. I think that actually the council tends to try and drive people apart slightly here. I think so many community centres have been closed down. Pubs have been closed down and made into posh gastro pubs and housing for rich people. People are encouraged not to congregate and discuss what's happening in this area. They're not encouraged to have a community spirit. But look what happens when something like this happens. They know that the council don't care about them. That it's them that's going to care for themselves.
I think one of the things that any outsider like me coming in finds is that the community is actually immensely strong and extraordinarily bound together, despite.
Yeah. And we have an amazing event here at the end of every August, Notting Hill Carnival, and the Conservatives are doing everything in their power to try and shut it down or to try and privatise it and try and charge people. It's constant.
But then on the other hand, I suppose people looking at it may say, well, she's probably pretty well off. I guess she lives in a nice house and all the rest of it.
I do now, because I've had a lot of money, but I didn't used to when I grew up around here.
Really? So how would you see it might be possible to bring a little more reality into these people's lives, particularly in Chelsea?
Well, I think, first of all, if we're talking about reality into these people's lives, I think that what people would really like is a more honest count of how many people have actually died in this event, how many people have been killed, and I think that the humanitarian effort on the ground here, the volunteering, which is being led by community leaders and volunteers, it's not being led by the council. It's being run by the people of this community, and it is chaotic. They don't have any experience with it, and I think that it's actually playing into the hands of the government, because once these people's hope turns to anger, they've got a real problem on their hands, and that is what I feel like the government are trying to micromanage people's grieving here. That's what's happening. I've never in my entire life seen an event like this where the death count has been downplayed by the mainstream media. 17, I'm sorry, but I'm hearing from people that the figure is much closer to 150, and that many of those people are children.
In thanking you, I'm bound to say that the difficulty is that
those are off-the-record numbers that I've been given from policemen and from firemen.
I'm also aware of it, and I actually said at the beginning of the programme that the death toll is likely to mount very considerably.
So why is that not coming out now? I don't understand.
The difficulty is that they have to identify bodies, and there can be very little left in this building, and that's the difficulty.
I appreciate that, but these are families, and when you have to identify a body, you report it to the next of kin. There are no next of kin.
Lily Allen, thank you very much for coming in. Now, one of the key questions for the public inquiry will be whether the recent refurbishment of Grenfell Tower was a factor in what happened here. Questions have been raised about the material used in the cladding that was added to the concrete walls of